Welcome to your Pilates with Balls 1.3. Hopefully you've already done 1.1, 1.2 for about 4 weeks each, and you're now ready for our final progression. Let's start as always with our feet together. Just make sure you've got plenty of room around you. If you've got a yoga mat, that's great. We'll be using the Pilates mini ball somewhere between 15 and 25 centimeters for this class, as we had before. Feet are together, we lift up the toes, turn them out, lift up the heels and jot them down behind the toes. A little shift forwards and backwards. So we're finding precision, our first fundamental of Pilates. Find that neutral weight shift between toes and heels. Coming up through the legs, switching on the thighs, now up to the hips. Quick bit of movement forwards and backwards in the hips to find neutral alignment. And once you have it, use the muscles around your hips to help support and stabilize the joint. Take a breath in, lift spine up tall. Take your hands behind and open your chest. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. So for me personally, I think this is one of the most important stretches we do, especially for modern living where we're folded forward so much over computers, tablets and phones. Exhale, release the shoulders and bring your ears in alignment with your shoulders. Precision, our first fundamental of Pilates. Let's think about our second one. Today is centering. Lift the pelvic floor. Start to think about the transverse abdominis, that belt or corset muscle. For me, it feels like I'm putting my belly button in towards my backbone. For you, you might imagine doing up a belt another notch tighter. On top of that is our rectus abdominis, our six-pack muscle. The muscles on the side are our obliques pulling in, and the muscles in the back, the erector spinae, and others that keep us upright. There's a box of muscle that supports our spine. The top of the box is our diaphragm, which brings us on to breathing. Pilates breathing, we inhale through nose, and we exhale through mouth. A little bit like you're blowing out birthday candles. The next fundamental is flow. Let's move. Inhale, bring shoulders forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Our flow is connected to our breath. Same amount of time forward and up as back and down. Looking for control, so just the shoulders are moving right now. Let's take them in the opposite direction. Inhale, back up, exhale, forward and down. Our final fundamental of Pilates today is precision. No, it's not, it's concentration. That was the first one. And I think I need a bit more concentration, don't I? So, as we start to concentrate on the movement, are we still remembering to keep on our center? So we're going to try and put those 6 fundamentals into every exercise that we do today. Precision, centering, breathing, flow, control, and concentration. Let's start to think about our spine. We're going to stabilize the hips and we're going to take the spine in its 4 ranges of motion. First one today is lateral flexion or sideways bend. Exhale, come over to the side. Inhale, coming up. So it's really important that we move our spine and keep mobility in the way it should move. So we're looking for articulation through our spine, moving one vertebrae at a time so that we have each and every vertebrae moving. Breathing out as we come over, in as we come up. We want true sideways bend in the neck as well, so we bring ear towards shoulder rather than looking up or down. It's great for spinal health to make sure that we can keep it moving in every direction that it should go, which is why this is so important to look after our back. Let's take a breath in, lift the arm up, and then exhale, take it over to the side. And we're just going to hold this one here for 10 to 15 seconds, just to let that lateral fascia extend. Let's take a breath in, lift up, then exhale and take it over to the side. Now inhale as you come up, exhale as you take it over. Starting to move with flow, connecting that flow back to our breath. Still remembering our center is switched on, and we're stabilizing the hips. And remember, you're moving at your own pace, not necessarily at mine, depending on how fast or how slow you breathe. More each side. Our next one is rotation. Take the arms out wide, keep the hips square to the front. Exhale, bringing the body round to the side. Inhale back to center. Exhale round to the other side. Inhale back to center. We want to be really aware that the hips are staying square to the front. So for me personally, it feels like I'm pulling my hips in the opposite direction to which I'm twisting or rotating. We want to think about rotation in every vertebrae. So from the bottom of the spine all the way up to the top. So that means looking behind you as you rotate. Now we don't often have our arms out wide for long periods of time. So if they start to ache, feel free to bring them across your body. Just rest in your hands, in your elbows. And the great thing about rotation of the spine is that it massages the spinal column. It massages the internal organs, which aids with digestion. So we probably want 2 more of those just so that we're equal on both sides before we move to our next plane of movement for our spine. Bringing the hands up to shoulders, again making sure that the hips are stable. We inhale, lift chest towards ceiling. Exhale, coming back to neutral. Think about lengthening the spine up and backwards. For me personally, I focus on lifting my chest rather than bending backwards. As that's the reaction of the spine bending in that direction. This time we're going to inhale, lift. Exhale, lengthen the arms back. Inhale, bring them back to your shoulders. Then exhale, coming back. As we start to feel the lengthening of the connective tissue up the front of our body. So I personally feel this on the first couple, right down by my belly button. As we start to lengthen the skin and the connective tissues underneath it. One more time. And then finally we're going to take our body forward. Bending knees, rolling down. one vertebrae at a time, and then just hang at the bottom. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, start to lengthen the legs. On your next breath out, relax the body down. And then on the next breath out, bring your forehead towards your knees. Bend your knees, inhale and rise. Now let's start to move with our breath. Exhale, coming down. And inhale, coming up. So you are going to move at the speed that you breathe. Again, how far we go down isn't important. What's important is that we're moving every vertebrae. So we're really getting that connection and that articulation to every vertebrae in our spine. So as we come up, we rebuild the spinal column. And then as we go down, we're taking one vertebrae off the column at a time. A little bit like building blocks with a child. You're just taking one block off, then the next one, then the next one. Like they're all falling to the ground. And then rebuilding back up. 2 more to go. And just one more. How about a little bit of challenge for our balance today? So we've had a couple of different variations. We're going to use the ball again. So we want the ball right in between our feet almost to start off with. Whatever you do with your arms that helps you balance, remember we're looking for a moment of instability and how we adjust our body so we don't fall over. It teaches us how not to fall over. Should we have a little wobble when we're out, if it's snowing, if it's windy, if it's raining, in the UK quite often is. So up until now we've taken the foot forwards and backwards, then the next time round we went to the side and to the back. This time a rond de jambe, a circle of the leg forward, take it round and bring it back in. We're looking for about 5 on this leg, and then we're going to switch to the other side. What helps you balance? Do you need to have your arms out? Do you hold your ear? Finger on your nose? What works for you? Once we've done 5 on one leg, let's switch to the other side. Bring the ball forward, round to the side, back and in. If this is too much for you today, remember you can go back to any of the other options, just rolling the ball out and in. Or taking it front side and back. But you might be up for a bit of a challenge with me today. Let's switch to the other side. So this time, take it the other direction. Take it back, round to the front and in. How's that one feeling for you today? Easy or harder? One way always seems a little bit easier than the other way, doesn't it? Why is that? Sometimes the backward one feels harder because we're used to stepping forwards. So I've done 5 on that leg. Let's do 5 on the final one. How's your balance today? Good? Mine's not doing too bad. Although my ball control, not quite as good under my foot on this side. I'm never going to be a world winning football player, am I? Or World Cup winning. Shows how much I know about football, right? So once you've done that, if you want to grab a quick drink, now's a great time before we come down to the floor. Our first exercise today is the teaser. So it's called the teaser because we breathe in a different direction to what we normally would. So we're going to inhale as we lift our body off the floor and exhale as we come down. So remind ourselves of all the options. Remember, as you fatigue, you might want to drop down to a lower option because Pilates is about precision. So our first option is just inhaling, coming up and lowering down. Our next option is to go one leg at a time, keeping the knees pressed together. Today, 2 options more for you. You might roll the ball up and back down, or if today is super amazing, start with the legs at 60 degrees. We bring the ball overhead. We inhale, coming up to the teaser. Then we exhale, coming back down. Coming all the way up to the sit bones. And then releasing. We breathe in on the way up. And then out on the way down. And what you'll start to find is the first time you do this class, you might only do a couple and then need a break. We're not expecting to get 10 of these out in one go. If you can, that's awesome. And what you might start to find is the legs start to lower. If it starts to get too much, remember we can drop down to one leg. Remember, our other options as we're lifting up is sliding the ribs towards the hips. Let's think about precision here. Our legs ideally want to stay at the same height. If you're coming to a full teaser, they might drop a little bit as you come up. But in an ideal world, they'll stay in exactly the same place. Center is working. We're breathing in on the way up and out on the way down. When we lift our legs off the floor, if we're doing both, we always lift one at a time. Just because it's kinder to our back. So by my counting, I've either done 9 or 10. But I think I'm going to take that as 10. So take the legs nice and long. Extend the arms out. Big stretch. Just to release all of those muscles that are worked. You probably felt some in the legs, some in the hips, some in the abs. Our next exercise is all about working in imprint. So we're going to start by pushing the lower back hard down into the floor. Our first option was to roll the leg out and in. Our next option, one at a time, we lift the legs, was to pop the ball between the feet. Keeping that lower back pressed down to the floor, we lengthen the legs, twist, breathe out, breathe in, come back to center, breathe out, back to center and in. Our next option is to do the same thing, but rather than come straight back in, see if you can do another 1, 2, or maybe 3 more before you have to bring your knees back into your body. Now remember, our precision marker is the lower back pressing down towards the floor. So anytime it starts to lift, that means we've lost the precision, and either we need to take a little break and bring the feet and the knees back in so that your lower abdominals have a little bit of time to recover. And let's think about what's happening here. You think that as you're fatiguing, your back is lifting off the floor, but what's actually happening is your lower abdominals are fatiguing and they're not holding the pelvis stable. So as the pelvis starts to let go, it starts to roll away, and the back of the pelvis comes off the floor, making that curve in the back. So really all the work is down here in the lower abdominals, in that bottom part of the belly, the bit that I lovingly refer to as my pooch. I think the bit that we all look at in the mirror and hope that we can get rid of. I know I certainly do. It's the bit I focus on just before I go on holiday. So maybe one more of those. Pretty tough, right? Got a bit of shake going on myself. Maybe taking hold of the ball. Take the arms wide. Soles of the feet on the floor. Exhale, drop the knees over to one side. Inhale, let them come back up. Exhale, over to the other side. Inhale, coming up. Feel that nice release. Or two more of those. Then walking the feet hip distance apart, taking the ball, popping it between the knees. For me personally, a bit of articulation in the spine is always good at this point. So palms are down in the floor, my feet are hip distance apart and they're parallel. Take a breath in to prepare, switch on the pelvic floor, exhale, peel the spine off the floor. Then inhale and lower. A couple of times just to get that articulation and movement through the spine. This is a great way to do it because you can really feel the spine lifting and lowering off the floor. Next one, we're going to lift up. We're looking for that line. Knee, hip, shoulder, belly drawn in. We then exhale, lengthen the leg. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lengthen the other leg. Inhale and lower. Our precision marker is the hips. They stay exactly in the same place. They don't drop as you lift your legs and they don't rock. If that's enough for you, you can lower down. Or, if today is a good day for a challenge, we do one leg, then the other, and we keep going. Maybe two, maybe three before lowering down, maybe more if it's a good day. Now what we're really looking for here is that alignment from the knee to the hip to the shoulder in a straight line as we move our legs. Now this moves over into everyday life in that we hold our body in that straight alignment when we're standing. That's our neutral alignment. And we move one leg at a time when we walk. And we want to keep the body nice and still. Now if we bent the hips down every time we lifted our legs, it would look a little bit like a Monty Python circus sketch. By having our body in this position, we have more gravity pushing on the body, which means we have to work harder to keep it in that neutral alignment which is increasing our strength so that when we're doing it standing up and gravity is only pushing on the top of our head, it's much easier for us to hold neutral alignment. So one more. Or maybe two more just for luck. Release off, taking hold of the ball, one knee at a time, lift them off the floor, taking hold of your knees, pulling in. Nice stretch through the back of the glutes and the back body. Little rock of the knees from side to side, maybe round in circles. And then the other way. So where's your challenge today? We can have the ball between the knees, or if today's a really good day for a challenge, we can pop the ball between the feet. Palms are down in the floor, pressing the whole body, the whole of the arm down. Remember, our arms are going to take our weight as we lift our body up, so you're going to feel a big transfer into the arms. We inhale to prepare, switching on that pelvic floor. We exhale, lift the body up. Then with control, we inhale and lower back down. By holding the ball further away from us, it starts to become a little bit more wobbly, so you can feel it needs much more control within the legs. Sorry, that's a radio mic, it sits right in the back of my head. So it doesn't always like this one. Let's try get a little bit further away, maybe it won't make any more noise. Hopefully. So it's the lowering down phase, that's our strength building phase. So by my count, that's 8. 2 more? Or do you need a bit of a break, or are you done? Remember, we don't have to get to 10, just as many as we can do today. And by the last one, probably feeling super fatigued, yeah? Woo, that was quite hard work, right? Let's take arms overhead, big stretch out, whatever helps you. Have a moment of recovery and catch your breath after that one, yeah? It's quite something. So from there, let's bring the legs back in. One more time, lift up, popping the ball underneath the lower part of the back. We bring our knees directly above our hips and our shins parallel to the ceiling. Previously, we started with the feet on the floor and lifted one at a time. We then came to this position, lowering one foot down as we inhale, exhale, lifting up. Now, today, for a beautiful challenge, take your hands up to the ceiling, a little bit like you're on holiday, and you're holding a book above you while you're lying on your sunbed. Now we want our knees to stay directly above the hips. What wants to happen is that as you lower one leg, the other leg wants to come in closer to the body to counterbalance. But we're not going to let that happen. If today is a day that it's a bit of a struggle, You don't have to touch the floor. And we want the ball on that wobbly part of the butt, yeah? If you need a little break, feel free to take one. So we inhale down, exhale coming up. And you can tap any part of your foot. Now remember, as you start to feel fatigued, if you're feeling really wobbly, then bring your hands back down to give us a larger surface area. But we want to feel that big squeeze around the middle, a little bit like when we were lengthening the legs and twisting, we had a hold around the middle. It's going to feel similar to that. Now, a couple more of those, and you're probably starting to feel really wobbly, and that's the great thing about using this Pilates mini ball, is that by making us wobbly and more unstable, we have to draw more muscle fibers in to help support us and make us work. Yep, there's no cheating here, is there? So if you've done your 10 and you've had enough, release, draw the legs in, and then we're going to come round onto our side. We want our elbow directly underneath the shoulder for this side plank. Option 1, knees there. Option 2, the feet are apart. Today we can have the feet together, stacked one on top of the other. Remember, as we fatigue, we want to drop to the lower options rather than just collapse. But over a period of time, we want to hold for longer and longer. And if you do have to take a break, that's totally cool. We might have a hand in a fist or on the floor, but with focusing on lifting the underside of the body as high as we can towards the ceiling. On your marks, get set, go. Lifting up. So we're pressing our elbow hard into the floor and lifting the underside of the body. We want our head in alignment with the rest of our body as we lift the hips up. So I don't know about you, but I'm beginning to get a good shake on. I don't know if you can see that. Definitely working hard right now. Squeezing the underside of the body. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming down. Whew. So you probably know that one side is better than the other side. So was that the good side first or the bad side? Let's find out. Let's come round to the other side. I'm sure you just told me if it's not your first time doing this one. So let's remind ourselves, knee, feet apart, feet stacked. That gives us just a little bit longer to catch our breath, right? See, I'm not always horrible. Sometimes I'm nice. Let's focus on that underside of the body coming up towards the ceiling. Take a breath in to prepare. Switch on your pelvic floor. Now exhale and lift. Squeeze the underside of the body, lifting the hip up towards the ceiling. Check your head is in alignment, it's not hanging off your shoulders. Super strong, super powerful. We're nearly there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. How you feeling? Did you take it to the next level? Starts to work. They say if you want time to move slowly, then a plank or a hover does that, and it certainly does, doesn't it? We got one more exercise today, our pointer. Coming over onto our hands and onto our knees. Knees under hips and then hands under shoulders. Walk them a little further forward. So up until now we've had the ball under the foot. We then took the ball in the hand and lengthened it. Today we move one hand and the opposite leg. But let's start with a strong foundation. Tuck the hips under, push the hand hard into the floor. 5 on one side, then 5 on the other. We exhale, lengthen. Inhale, bring it back in. So you breathe out as it goes out. We breathe in as it comes in. I feel like I have all my weight in my hand. But my butt is tucked under to really engage my lower abdominals. One more. And I'm going to switch hands and switch legs. Our precision marker here is our shoulders and our hips. And they're staying parallel to the floor. They're not going any higher or any lower. And our hand and our foot does not go higher or lower than the higher than the shoulder or the hip. Lower is better. Yeah. Let's switch again. We're nearly there, everybody. In theory, we should be able to put the ball on our back, and as we move our arm and our leg, the ball wouldn't come off of our back. It would stay in exactly the same place. That's if you can make it stay there in the first place. Feel free to give it a go, just for a bit of fun, right? So by my counting, that's 5. Now we don't need the ball anymore, so we can just pop it out the way. I could have let that roll off, couldn't I? We'll sit back into child's pose. Nice stretch all the way through the back. For me personally, a little rock. One shoulder down to the floor, then to the other. Releases off the latissimus dorsi so nicely, or your lats. From here, we're going to lie on our front. Lift up one foot, take hold of the shin, gently pull towards you, and then push your hips down into the floor. And feel how that starts to open the front of the hip and the front of the thigh. Switching over to the other side, take hold of shin, push hips down into floor. Release. Coming up onto your knees. Step the foot closest to me forward. Tuck the hips under as you push through. Squeeze the butt muscle and feel that opening in the hip flexors at the front of the hips. Take a breath in, lengthen your leg. Exhale, push the sit bones back behind you. Feel the stretch in the hamstrings in the back of the thigh. Take a breath in, rise up. Switch to the other side. Tuck the hips under. Take a breath in. Lengthen the leg. Exhale. Push the sit bones back. So in order to stretch the hamstrings, they're connected below the knee and on the sit bone. We're pushing our sit bone away from our knee. Coming down to take a seat. Take a breath in as you breathe out. Twist around to the side. Breathing in as you come back to the middle. Breathing out as you come round to the other side. Inhale, coming back to the front. Bring the right arm across the body, taking hold somewhere between elbow and shoulder. Draw the arm in and relax the shoulders down. Bend your elbow, like you're patting yourself on the back, maybe a push, maybe a pull. Feel that beautiful stretch up the back of the arm in the triceps. Switch to the other side, bring the arm across, shoulder down, taking a hold between shoulder and elbow. Relax the upper body. Remember, muscles stretch better when they're relaxed. Bend the elbow, take the hand up and over, finding that great point for you to stretch. Take a deep breath in, open the arms wide. Thank you so much for joining me for this Pilates with balls class today. I hope you enjoyed it. Might want to do this one for 4 weeks, maybe 6, depends on what feels good for you. And then maybe challenge yourself with another Pilates class, maybe with another piece of equipment. Or maybe try another one of the classes that we have on offer here at clubk.online. I hope you enjoyed the class today, and I hope to see you in another class again soon. I can make it.